Volcano Creatures, Life in Hell's Kitchen. It's a pretty intense title, right? Today, we're going to journey into one of the most hostile environments on our planet, the fiery heart of a volcano. And we're going there to find creatures that are completely rewriting the rulebook for where life can even exist.
So let's just get right to it with the big question here. Can anything actually survive inside a volcano? I mean, really think about it. You've got molten rock, toxic smoke, crushing pressure. What are the odds for life? Your gut reaction probably is zero. And you know what? For centuries, that was the only common sense answer.
Yeah, for pretty much all of human history, that's exactly what science believed too. Volcanoes, they were just seen as totally sterile zones. They were nature's ultimate symbols of pure destruction. I mean, they were basically the closest thing on Earth you could find to an uninhabitable hellscape, a place that was just fundamentally, completely opposed to life. But then, everything changed. That whole idea was just shattered. The myth of the lifeless, sterile hellscape, it gave way to a reality that is frankly shocking. Scientists have now discovered that these fiery, chaotic systems are not dead zones at all, not even close. In fact, they are biologically surprising. They're like a cradle of life, hosting entire ecosystems that actually thrive in all that chaos. Okay, so before we get to the cool creatures, let's just take a step back. Why was that old belief so strong? I mean, why did a volcano seem like the absolute last place on Earth you would ever find living things? Well, the list of challenges is just brutal. First, you've got extreme heat that can incinerate most organisms in an instant. Then, an atmosphere just choked with toxic sulfuric gases. You've got constant flows of molten rock. And on top of all that, fluids so acidic they can literally dissolve metal. I mean, everything about this environment just screams death, not life. And yet, life is just so much more resilient than we ever gave it credit for, because in these seemingly impossible conditions, scientists found organisms that aren't just surviving, they are absolutely thriving, which leads to the obvious question, how is this even possible? Okay, to get our heads around this, we need a key piece of vocab. The word is extremophile. And this isn't just about being tough enough to, endure some hardship. An extremophile is an organism whose entire biology is built for an environment that would kill pretty much everything else. They don't just tolerate the extreme conditions, they actually thrive in them. All right, so now it's time. Let's meet a few of these incredible volcanic champions. These are creatures that make their homes in places that feel completely alien to us. First up, let's just start with a number. 113 degrees Celsius. For those of you in the US, that's 235 degrees Fahrenheit. This is way above the boiling point of water. It's a temperature that, by all rights, should completely destroy the very molecules that make up life. But it's not a problem for Pyrolobus fumarii. This little microbe, found in deep-sea volcanic vents, doesn't just survive at this temperature, it lives and reproduces there. Its secret? It all comes down to its biology. Its proteins and its cell membranes are specially structured so they don't melt under heat that would instantly disintegrate ours. Okay, let's dial the temperature down a bit, but only a little. We're still talking 80 degrees Celsius or 176 Fahrenheit. That is scalding hot, and it's home to one of the most bizarre creatures on the entire planet. Meet the Pompeii worm. Its survival strategy is just remarkable. It builds these little tubes on the side of hydrothermal vents and lives this completely bizarre lifestyle. Get this, its tail end sits in near boiling water while its head pokes out into cooler temperatures. It is literally living in two different worlds at the exact same time. All right, brace yourself for this next number, 400 degrees Celsius. That is 750 degrees Fahrenheit. This is hot enough to melt lead. Okay, it just seems absolutely fundamentally impossible for life to exist anywhere even near this. And yet, this is the home of the blind shrimp Remicaris exoculata. They just swarm around these volcanic chimneys, right on the edge of these superheated water jets. Now, to be clear, they can't survive in the 400-degree flow itself, but they live closer to it than almost any other complex animal we know of, making a life for themselves in one of the most extreme temperature gradients on the entire planet. So this all leads to the big question, right? How in the world do they do it? What kind of biological superpowers do these creatures have that let them call a volcano home?
Well, it's like a whole toolkit of evolutionary genius. They've got proteins that refuse to fall apart in extreme heat and cell membranes that just don't melt. A lot of them don't even need sunlight. They create their own energy from the volcano's chemical soup. It's a process called chemosynthesis. Some, like that Pompeo worm we met, even wear these little insulating coats made of friendly bacteria. And then there are others with the ultimate escape hatch, suspended animation. Check this out. The volcanic midge has one of the most mind-blowing survival tricks of them all. When conditions get too hot or too dry, what does it do? It basically dehydrates itself. It loses almost all of its body water and enters the state of suspended animation. It's almost like a seed. And then when water comes back, it just rehydrates and comes back to life, totally unharmed. You know, discovering these creatures does more than just rewrite our biology textbooks here on Earth. It fundamentally changes how we look for life everywhere else in the universe. And the implication here is just massive. Think about it. If life can exist in the hellish conditions of a volcano right here on Earth, then the number of potentially habitable places out there in the cosmos just exploded. The goalposts for what makes a planet habitable, they've moved dramatically.
So, where are we looking now? Well, we're looking at places that look a whole lot like the volcanic zones we've been talking about. We're looking at the sulfur-rich hydrothermal regions of Jupiter's moon, Io. We're looking at the ancient volcanic plains on Mars. We're even looking deep inside icy moons like Europa, where we suspect volcanic activity could be warming up liquid oceans miles away from any sunlight. And this is the key takeaway from the research. Earth's volcano creatures, they're now our best model for what alien life might actually look like. They show us that life doesn't just happen in calm, gentle gardens. It might just as easily emerge in worlds that are fiery, chaotic, and intensely chemical. And that really leaves us with this final, big thought. We used to see volcanoes as nothing more than zones of death. Now we see them as proof of life's incredible, unbelievable tenacity. So the ultimate question becomes this: if life is this tough, this adaptable, and can be found even in Earth's harshest corners, where else in the cosmos is it hiding?